What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. The camera's a little bit laggy, but whatever. It is the 29th day of June. Here we are at about $60,300 with roughly 10 hours 46 minutes left in the day. Again, hit that like button. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. Okay, we are seeing a little bit of volatility down in this range, right? For the past few days, we've really just moved sideways. I did think that we were going to move up over the weekend. That was the expectation that we'd be moving our way up to 62,000. We clearly haven't done that. We actually moved down over the weekend a little bit, still maintaining higher lows, but we moved down. I actually like it if we're expecting to move up when we move down over the weekend, because that typically does set us up to move up over the week. Whenever you move up over the weekend, you move down over the week, typically. Whenever you move down over the weekend, you move up over the week, typically. Not always, not always. It's not perfect. Nothing is. But let's just go over this real quick, and then we'll get into the short-term stuff, okay? I'm just choosing this as a random starting point. Here we are, Saturday, Sunday, you were green. What'd you do the following week? You dumped down. You actually moved down. And then here, Saturday, Sunday, you were red. And the following week, you did drop on Monday a little bit, but then you came back up. You didn't really come up too much. You didn't really come up too much. Again, it's not perfect. Here, Saturday, Sunday, you moved up. Monday, Tuesday, you moved up a little bit, but the rest of the week you moved down, right? Saturday, you moved up. Sunday, you closed pretty neutral, but you were up over the weekend, technically, even with Sunday's red close. So then you moved down the next week. So you moved down one week, or you moved up one week, then you moved down. Up one weekend, moved down during the week. Moved down one weekend, moved up a little bit during the week, but not too much, right? I would say that one doesn't count. Then we moved up over the weekend, moved down another week, moved up over the weekend, moved down another week, and then here, Saturday, Sunday, we actually moved up again and moved down over the week. And then on Saturday here, Sunday here, we moved up again, and then we moved down over the week. And you get the picture, right? But we're going to keep drilling it home. Saturday, Sunday, we moved down over the weekend. We're probably going to move up over the week. That's my assumption. We could keep moving lower. We look at the CoinGlass data here on the liquidation map. There are a ton of shorts in comparison to longs, but there's still a lot of longs, guys. There are still a ton of longs. They get cleared out at basically 57K, thereabouts. 7-day time frame over the past week. A lot of those get cleared out, around 57K over the last 24 hours. Shorts have gotten decimated. Longs still remain. We've gone into this zone, though, and we just can't seem to push through. Makes me think these longs are protected. The shorts might be at risk, and there are a lot more shorts than longs. If we move up, if we move down, I don't imagine people adding to their long positions. I imagine people getting scared. Whereas if we move up, even if we clear out some short positions, we'll probably see people add to their short positions, and that will fuel the fire. So I do think we're in a transitional phase where we should start to see some shifting to the upside. That's my assumption. We are, again, in this overall consolidation zone. Every pump gets dumped into, every dump gets pumped into. We've just seen the dump. We're probably going to pump. And I think this should last about another month. Maybe just a little less, maybe just a little more. But this consolidation range should last about another month. And then we move down. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this consolidation phase, we did inevitably see higher prices than this here. Imagining that we do, the fib targets that we have would be anything from about 70K to 73.6K in the primary target zone. And that makes a good bit of sense to me. 73.6K right there, $70,000 itself, right? Basically, right there, bam. Let me delete this bad boy. Finding resistance at prior support here. You're kind of in the heart of this zone, but still, you can find resistance there. Maybe if we take the overall high here to the overall low, not the fake out low, that top line goes right into the heart of the golden ratio zone. That secondary, or that primary line goes right to the halfway point of this fib retracement. That's also a pretty serious area to reject. Bitcoin does like its 0.5, especially when finding significant resistance in areas like this. So, yeah, both of those answers check out. 70K, 73.6K. I mean, it makes sense both ways. 1 hour time frame here. Looking at this, we are moving up a little bit. We've seen some volatility. I still believe that we're going to move up higher. I mean, I know we got a lot of volume here. We wicked all the way up and came down, but to me, To me, this whole realm has looked like it's a giant psyop for bears. It's like bear trap on bear trap. Oh, we're gonna go lower. Oh, we're gonna go lower, and then slowly, but surely we're moving up. Oh, we're gonna go lower. Look, guys, we broke the trend line, and then we start to move up. Okay, this time's real. We are gonna go lower. Look at that big wick with all that volume, and then here we are moving back up again. Just there's a lot of time left in the day. Anything can happen. I can be wrong. We certainly can see slightly lower lows here, but even if we do, we're in a low area. I'm very much assuming that we're going to be moving up to something above 62K probably very soon. And again, we look at this from a trend line perspective, connecting those dots there. You broke right below this trend line. Again, how many people probably went short or closed their longs because of that? And now we're moving up. We're actually finding support on the trend line again. These trend lines, I don't care about this. I don't care about the support here. What I care about is the sweet spot, which is right below the trend line. Everybody thinks you have to find support right on the trend line. As soon as you don't, you're going down. But really, more often than not, you'll see this kind of behavior where as soon as you go below it, that's actually the perfect area to buy. And it really was. And we didn't see a lot of volume come in on this move, right? We saw a lot of volume come in recently, but that might have been relative to, I was going to say the stock market opened, but actually the stock market hasn't opened yet, so never mind. Anyways, I digress. All I'm saying is, to me, this looks good. This doesn't look bad. 1 hour indicators, the RSI looks bullish, the stochastics are bullish, the MACD was about to reject the zero, but now you're crossing through bullish. We're at the same moment that we were back here. Hopefully this attempt is better. Because back here, you guys remember on Saturday, we were talking about breaking through this level and how that should promote some growth. And once we did break through it, I was like, it's kind of disappointing, right? It's kind of disappointing. We're expecting more growth. We're expecting a push. Here we are breaking through the zero again. Let's get a push. Let's see something that's a little bit more solid than just an $800 move from here. I want something that's over $1,000, maybe $2,000 in movement. We're going to see something that is probably more robust to the upside, much like this movement here was, this movement here, something like this, right? Not this squiggly wiggle right here. It's going to be something more like this, right? That's what I'm expecting, and that should take us to 62K and above, if I'm assuming correctly. We look good. We look good overall. We do look pretty good to move higher. Doesn't mean it has to be right now today. It wouldn't surprise me if it was. It could be tomorrow. It could be the next day. We'll see. Sometimes whenever you move down over the weekend, you move down still on Monday and Tuesday, and then you move up the rest of the week. But I digress. We're beating a dead horse there. 4-hour time frame. You can see we're still maintaining these higher lows, right? We're still maintaining that right here at the 50, finding a little bit of resistance, looking like we want to break out. Actually, that's nice to see. Here, whenever you found resistance, boom, you went down, man. Here, on the same trajectory, whenever you found resistance, boom, you went down. And then here, you're in the sense of the same trajectory, you're kind of wiggling through it. You found resistance here, but you didn't do the boom down, did you? You're kind of squiggly wiggles, and you look like you want to break out to the upside. That's good to see. And 4-hour time frame would imply then, if we're moving up, that by the end of this week, we should be in the overbought zone. By the end of this week, we should see some excitement. It's not just going to be a straight shot up like it was to the downside, but we take this here from a high to a low. I mean, the next target would be $61,500. Golden ratio is there at 63.6K, 64K. Maybe we're at 64K, 63K by the end of this week. Again, a little bit of volatility in the meantime, but I wouldn't be surprised if we, sometime in the first few days of July, we're up at 63, 64K again. That's the call at the moment. Stochastics look bullish. I was surprised that we found resistance here, but hey, nice recovery. We're looking bullish here. The MACD, we don't want to overlay that. MACD is still bearish, but you're also bearish in a bullish way. You're bullish in a bearish way. I don't know. You've broken this trend. Okay, the oscillators here connect here. You've actually broken this trend, which is really nice to see. Typically, when you break these trends, you do see continued growth. And the thing is, we're still bearish overall because the oscillators are below the zero level. So bullish trend in a bearish environment. I don't know how to phrase that. We could keep moving up to this zero level, and we could find resistance here. But the thing is, and this is what I talked about in the last video that I made, I remember, we were talking about how you have room to run. You have room to run. If you break through this, that likely implies there will be growth, and it could be a little bit of growth, and then we find resistance here, and we're coming back down. It could be a little bit of growth, and then we consolidate for a second, and then this is a false rejection. We actually come back up and cross, and then we continue to grow. We could grow a little bit, find double resistance, and then bottom. I mean, there's a few different avenues to go. We could get a false cross and then come down, but typically these crossing moments where you cross through this threshold, this zero level, it allows more growth to happen. I mean, from there, we literally moved actually from the point of crossing, we went from 63K all the way up to 67K, which isn't a lot, but if Bitcoin's moving up that much, altcoins are probably moving up a decent bit too. So I mean, just from here, assuming that we move up that same amount, assuming that we move up like 4K, this really starts to look like a double bottom. And some people might think, oh, double bottom, I've heard that one before. Yeah, everybody thought that this was a double bottom, didn't they? Oh, they thought that this was a double bottom here. The thing is, I haven't called for any of these to be a double bottom, but I am now starting to call for this to be a double bottom. I mean, it's a bit early. It doesn't get confirmed until here, but if this is a double bottom, the idea would be that we do see some type of primary extension based off of this move, maybe even as high as the 1886. I doubt we get that high, but we really could see something that's in this primary zone, 73.7K to $70,000. I said 0.6, but it's really closer to 0.7. That's a perfect range. That's a perfect range. I really do. And Bitcoin likes to wick above its golden ratio sometimes, and that would make sense too. There's support right here. There's resistance right there. We could wick a little bit. We could stop somewhere in between this zone here. That happens. Daily time. We went over all the indicators on the 4-hour. Yeah. Stochastics look bullish. RSI is neutral, but there's some bullish things going on. Or at least less bearish things in what would normally be a bearish area for this thing as of late. Stochastics are looking bullish. MACD is looking bullish as well in a bearish environment. Daily stochastics, again, bouncing off this oversold area would be very bullish. The fact that we actually came back down is not a good thing. So we want today to close like this. We want to close higher. We want the stochastics to cross out of the oversold zone. We want a bounce from here because if we want to be immediately bullish. If not, if we get into that oversold zone, we really could be seeing something that is, an extended move down, and maybe we do go below or around 55K. That could happen. I'm not expecting that at the moment. Finding support at the oversold zone here, finding support at the oversold zone on the RSI, we seem, and again, the bullish divergence that comes from that, we seem bullishly postured. The MACD still, even though we got 2 red days in a row here, and we're probably on our 3rd one right now, closing here or higher does provide an opportunity, not just for bullish divergence where you have higher lows here, but where you also get a false red cross. And again, the same idea as the 4-hour time frame. You have some room to run here before you're in any kind of real resistance, let alone if you break through that. The last time that we broke through the 0 to the upside on the daily time frame, well, that was during this nice move that went from 66K all the way up to 83K, right? So we've definitely got some potential here. And again, even here you found resistance here, but then you came back up. You can see volatility in the midst of this too. But for the time being, I really wouldn't be surprised if we did move up as the days go on this week. I've got nothing else to say. This video went on longer than I expected it to, but hey, it is what it is. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care.